Hello. Is my voice is audible for all? Okay, let us wait for 2 more minutes and then we will start the live. If my voice is audible, kindly tell it in the chat box. My voice is audible, kindly tell it in the chat box. Let me know. We will start the session within a minute. Hi, Abhishek. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Okay. Okay, so we will start the class. So yesterday we have covered a lot of things, right? So today we're going to cover the most important, and these all are the core concepts that you need to learn if you want to become a core JavaScript developer. And also these concepts are like paradigms, so they are paying way for each and every application. These concepts are inherent. Whenever you are using these concepts are already there, but we don't know whether these are available and what is this actually is we don't know. Okay, so that's what we're going to see. We're going to see about arrow functions, closures, hoisting, and immediate function. These two are very important, and these two we will discuss and how it get replaced and what all are they and how it is working and everything we will discuss it. Okay, so I just opened this one with my live server. Open it with live server. Just give a bit. Okay. So the live server is open. So first thing, what we're going to see is we're going to discuss about closures. We go with arrow functions and closures, hoisting, and immediate forwarding functions. Okay, one by one. Okay. So what we can do? Okay, our beginners. So I think you're asking something about attendance. Attendance will be shared about at the in meeting last. Okay. So if you filled all the 4 days of attendance, if you will get the certification. Okay. You need to fill all the 4 days of attendance. Okay. So the workshop is taking for 4 days. You need to fill it. Okay. And for beginners, this is for advanced people. Okay. So beginners, the JavaScript workshop for this month is already taken. The video is also it's available. The recording is also available. That is also in live. It is taken from 8 to 12, I think. You can just scroll down. You will get the beginner to advanced level workshop. That is for beginners. But if you want to, this for advanced people. Okay, so who want to learn about advanced things, you can learn it here. Okay, and the attendance will be shared. You need to fill all the 4 days attendance to get the certifications. Okay. Yes, we're going to discuss arrow functions. The arrow functions, uh, why is it? Why? What is the use of arrow functions, right? So arrow function is basically a syntactic sugar, and it is not only doing the syntactic sugar work of a function, but it is mostly used for the syntactic sugar. For example, if I want to write a function, I need to write like this is going to be normal declaration type. This is called as declaration, and then another way is going to be and mention it as storing. We actually have two types of functions. So one is going to be declaration, and then another one is going to be function constructor. So this constructor type of function is this basically storing a function inside a variable. Okay. So how can we do that one? So let me say I will just say constructor function. Okay. Here for declaration, you can declare as it is without using the key variable and I say name of the function like this. Okay. Say like hello world like this. Okay. And then this declaration for constructor function, the same function you need to write like storing it in a variable. Okay, a function that is stored in a variable. So here you don't want the function name because it is value that you're going to return, it is going to return it in the variable. So you don't want to return it. I just say hi. If you want to run this function, how can we run this means? So normally, if I ask console.log what is the name, we will get the data that is inside the name, right? So here the data is going to be the function. So if I want to invoke a function, then you need to give the parenthesis. Same procedure, but you don't want to add the function name. Here you will get the variable name. So the variable act the whatever the information that you are going to return. So if you invoke the function, once it is returned, so the return word will go inside this name. So if you invoke that variable, then you will see this. And this kind of behavior is called as constructor function. Okay. Hello all. Hello. So this kind of function is called as constructor function. And this is we can able to short it down and we can write it very less, like the syntax we can able to reduce it. And we do is just one. I can say the name one. Okay. So instead of writing this functions, parentheses and everything, you can leave the keyword function and you can use the arrow sign equal to greater than sign. You can use this sign. This is indicating an arrow function. For example, if you want to return now, if I invoke this name one, this is going to return me an arrow function, and this is also a function. So if you run this function, you will get whatever that code inside that function, you will get it. And this you will have a lot of advantage whenever you want to return a block of code, like more than one line of code, you want to return it. You can use this curly braces and return keyword. If you just want to return a line of code, a single line of code, you actually don't want this curly braces and everything. You can just return like this. Because the code is just I want to return here. Do the same thing. Want to return a block of code, more than one line of code, then you need to use this curly braces and then you need to use the return keyword. But if it is not, you don't want to do this. That's what. Okay. And here, if you have parameters like more than one, for example, you have two parameters, A, B, like this. You have two parameters, then you can use this parenthesis. If you have only one parameter like this, you don't want to use the parenthesis, you can simply write like this. Name A equal to A, and if I ask what is A, what is A, what is A, I don't know what is A is, I just going to pass the value A as getting getting it, right? So if you have more than one values, then you need to use this quotation and then you need to wrap it with the parenthesis. Okay, then only it will work. Give the value like 4, and here if I say and you can see we are getting the value that is multiplied by b and then we are getting it like this. Okay, same like this. If you want to write a single line of code, then that is fine. If you want to write a block of code, then you need to use the braces with return keyword. Okay, so also you can use this, that is a good one. Okay, so that's a good thing. Okay, so that's what it is. So that's what arrow function is. Okay, and arrow function is not only sorry yeah, the arrow function is not only is going to manipulate your is used for just syntactic sugar. The arrow function can able to change the scope of this. For example, say obj, okay, and here it is going to be say name. Here if I create a function, right, equal to a function. This is also a bit like constructor function, okay, but it is comes under method in a function. The return matrix. This dot name, we know that this inside an object is going to refers to the object, right? So if I ask for this dot name, it is going to refer to the name of the person, right? It is going to refer to that. Ask it in console.log what is you can get the function. And invoke it, if I invoke this, exactly the same, right? But here, if I use the arrow function, see the changes what will happen. Only getting hello. Okay, so we are getting hello, which means this string. We are not getting this. Why? What is happening? This dot name is not. It is not showing anything. So why? What is happening? We need to know, right? So let's say here. Let me ask, what is this? Dot log this, and you know that inside, if I use this keyword inside an object, it refers to the object. But here you can notice that this keyword is refers to a Windows object. But if I use normal function, it refers to object that where the function is property of, right? Here this keyword it will changes. It always in arrow function, this keyword always refers to the root object. So what is meant by root object? Which means it is always refers to the Windows object that's it has. Okay, it will be that. Okay, it is going to refer to that one. So it has the functionality of changing the scope. Okay, so that is why using arrow function inside an object is not good. You can go with normal function, because most of the time 99% we just want to use this the keyword need to refers to the object. It We should not want it to refer to some other things. So that's the reason. Okay, so yeah, this is one the thing. Now, what can I do? Okay, so now what can we do is we can go and see about what is closure. Okay, closure, let me explain with the definition first. Okay. So closure is something like a function. We have a function is executed. A function is called. Okay. Even though the function is not existed, even though function is not existed, okay, still we can able to access access the access the data of a function. So what is meant by that? Let me explain. Say function, okay, and if I say get, here say const my order food order have a parameter called order. Okay, so what here it will be stored inside this variable order. Okay, now here I just going to say console.log I just going to say get food, and here I just going to say pizza is what my good food. If I ask for it, see what we are getting. Sorry, we we need to give it in a string. Now you will get you're getting undefined because the function is not returning anything. I just going to say return ordered food. Return ordered food. So what can I do is, let me go with some little bit syntax. Okay. Sorry. You can see return order food like this. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So we are getting pizza, right? So we know that a function returns an ordered food. Okay. A function returns an ordered food. Sorry, a function returns something. What will happen is the function will removed from the call stack. It is it just that's it. It will be removed. It is erased. The memory is gone, right? So to see this, here, save it here. Okay. Shows and add a new snippet. I'm going to check it, what is happening with my code. Okay. Just say debugger. Okay. If I save it and if I run it, you can see the JavaScript stops here. And here we're going to see check the call stack. Okay. So call stack is the place where all the executions takes place. With the code execution, if I invoke something, the code execution will take place in the call stack. Now I'm going to control JavaScript execution one by one. I'm clicking here. You can see right now the execution, it just read all the things. And right now it come to the next code. I'm asking console. You can see the call stack. There is something called as anonymous. So anonymous is global call stack. Nothing is there. Then let us consider like that. Okay. So we have global call stack where all the Windows object and everything will be there. Right now, consider there is nothing to execute it. Okay. So if I run again, you can see right now what we are getting. We are getting get food. Why? Because in the console I asked it to run. I executing the get food, right? So the get food function is executing. So it is comes into the call stack. So once it comes into the call stack, it will read all the code. You can see it will take our parameter and it will add it here. And if I just go again, you can see now it is in the return statement that you can look closely. You can see the all in local variable, the order is added, the order food is added, and everything is added in the local variable. The order is the parameter and the order food is the variable that is inside the function, right? Everything is added. Once we are right now, the function is going to return it. Once the return statement is completed, you can see that now the return statement is completed. I'm going to click it again. You can see in global stack, what has happened? It is removed. The execution, the function is removed. And also in scope, in the memory, you can able to see that whatever we have, whatever the memory that whatever the data that is inside the function, that is also removed, right? Order we have, order food we have, and everything is removed. Right now it is not in memory also. Once again we execute it, then only it will be run, right? So if I click it again, you can see we are getting pizza and there is nothing inside here, right? That's it. The code execution is completed. If I run it again, sorry, okay, okay, you can see this, okay, and run it again. To run it. So sorry for the grammarly checking is coming. Cut it down. Okay. Let us and test it again. And if I run it, you can again see. So right now in global scope that nothing is there. In call stack is also nothing is there. Once the function is executed, right now the call stack, right now the function is ready to execute it, and all the variable that is inside the local scope for that variable is created. You can see global is separated, local variables are created. So we have access to the Windows object, we have access to pizza, and right now it is undefined because nothing is, because right now only it is reading. Right now only it is going to assign the value to it. So now if I execute it, see the values get assigned. Now it is going to return something. Once the return statement is completed, so the memory is erased. So the function data, all the data of the function is removed. The call stack, the execution call stack is also get removed, right? Just a minute. Yeah. So it will get removed. So it is not existed. So what is mean by it is not existed? Which means we are not able to access it anymore, right? Once the function returns something, we are not able to access it anymore, right? So that is the case. But closures give access to it. So with the help of closures, you can able to access something removed in the memory, like the data that is removed in the memory. The data are the functions, whatever the function data that has, we can able to access it. How? Let me explain that one. So what I'm going to do, I just going to cut it down everything. Okay, this also. Okay, and I'm clicking OK. This also. And if I am running here, and I just remove this one. And right now, what I'm going to do, I just going to functionality here. Debugger, let us remove the debugger here, and we have the get food here, having the console. So what I'm going to do, once the return statement is completed, so it is get removed from the memory, right? Here, I'm going to return another function. That function is going to be by eat food, and here the return statement is going to be return. Here, what I'm going to do, asking console.log. Okay, say hello. Okay, now I'm just going to cut off this. Let us go for our snow source and let us click on the snippet, click on here and paste it. Debugger here to see what is happening. Okay, now I'm just going to run this code. Once I run it, the debugger is here. So now we're going to execute the get food functionality. So if I execute again, right now it is in the console. You can see. So what are the things are important is the call stack and the scope. Nothing other than is important. Okay, call stack and scope. I'm clicking again. So right now the get food is executing. You can see all the variables of get food we have inside whatever the data that is inside a function. It will be added to the local scope. The this, which means the Windows object, it is always there. We know inside function we use this keyword. The Windows we will get because it is having the local access. And we have eat food. This is the function that we newly created. Order food is there, and these are right now undefined because no values assigned it. Right, in call stack we have only get food, and right now if I click it again, you can see the function is executing. Right now eat food is having the eat food functionality, and I just going to click it again, and now you can see the local scope is removed. You can see what we are having inside this local scope. Nothing is there. Why? So this function execution is completed because it returned. We know that a function returns something, it will remove from the call stack and the data are erased. So right now it is removed. Okay, it is removed. The data are removed. If I execute it, you can see that we have only console.log hello. The hello is printed here, and if I just execute it here, now you can able to see it is returning the eat food, and just executing again, you can see that everything is completed and it will done, right? So we know that once this statement is returned, this data is removed from the memory, right? But still we can able to access the memory. For example, say uh, if I just statement again, okay, now you can see, click here, same thing, but look carefully. You can able to see a closure is created, right? A closure, sorry, I think the script is duplicated. Just a minute, let me copy this one and remove all the previous one, remove, and I just added the snippet, and here I just clear the console and refresh the page, and now let me add this one and let clear. And now if I go and follow the same step, so I'm trying to access that is removed from my memory. Okay, so the function is removed, but the variable is removed from the memory, but I'm trying to access it. How can we access it or not? That's what the question is here. So right now the get food is executing, the values assigned for order pizza, and right now you can able to see a new scope is added. Inside scope, a new thing is added that is called closer. So a closer is giving the order food. You can see that the way this data of a function is removed from the memory, but closer is giving me the order food. So what is closer is? A closer is a special place whenever we are creating a function. Okay, so the function's data, everything, the parameters, name of the function, the function's variables, the function method, everything related to that function, it will be stored inside the closer. Okay, a special place, and it's like a special box, and it will be hidden, and whenever we want it we can able to access it. Not like even the function is not existed, even the function is removed from the memory, even the function everything is completed, still we can able to access the function's data. So always the child can able to access the function's memory, and this concept is called as closures. A closure is a special place where a function is not even existed in the program, still we can able to access it. With the help of this closures only, we can able to access some data that is hidden. The function is run way before, we don't know where the function is running and everything, but still we can able to access the data inside the function, and we can able to create a lot of function oriented works in JavaScript related to like currying, So much of things we can able to achieve with the help of this closure, and this is the basic kind. So simple thing is, a function is returned something, the function data and the function will be removed from the memory, but still the data of the function and their everything, parameter, argument, whatever, we can able to still access it. Okay, when a function returns and another function, that child function can able to access the parent function's data even the function is not returned. Okay, so that's what the thing. Okay, okay, so that is the thing that closure is all of. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. And right now, if you read the statement, right now, if you read the statement, you can able to understand again what is closure is. Okay, so let me refresh and cancel all the debugger. Go here. You can see a function is executed. It is completed. A function is called, which means it is invoked. Even though the function is not existed in the memory, still we can able to access their data. And this functionality is JavaScript, not first. It is achieved in JavaScript and other programming languages like Java. They don't have closures, and they inspired the functionality of the closures. What closures can able to do, right? So they inspired it, and recently those language adapted this. Remember, a scripting language is educating the programming language. What are the special things I am having? So that's what JavaScript is. Okay, so this closure is one of the best concepts that is available in JavaScript. So this will pave way for all the function-oriented programming languages. Okay. So yeah, this is what all of closure. Let me place it here and I will comment on. If anyone want the code file, you can ask it in the WhatsApp group. A social media manager will provide it. Now comes to hoisting. What is hoisting? So if you read it in some documentation, you will probably come up with the statement hoisting is moving variables and functions to the top of the function. This is what you will get. If you read some documentation, even in W3 school also it will be there. Moving variable and function to the top of the document. So that's what they have told. That's how they have written in the documentation. So actual what is hoisting is what? Actually what is that? Okay, we need to know it, right? Actually what is this, and how can we do it, and all these things we know it, right? So hoisting is a process happen in memory allocation. Okay, when a code, how the closure is happening during execution. Okay, here the hoisting will happens during memory allocation. So JavaScript start to read the code, right? So during that time, this allocations will happen. This thing will happen. Okay. Let me explain how this thing will explain and everything. Okay. So simply, what you need to do is hoisting process process a temporary process like JavaScript before for memories are allocated. JavaScript read the code, uh, and we can say like create is or variable and function. What is mean by that? JavaScript started to read the code for some variables and some function. The memory allocation is already started. They reserved a space in memory, like a VAP pause. Okay, so like now only the ticket is going to open, but already some seats are booked. The same concept. JavaScript now only going to read the code, but before that, some memories are already reserved. Some space are already reserved. Okay. Let me explain how. Let me open the debugger to explain this. Okay. So we all know that what is debugger is, right? If I click the snippet and here I say debugger. So what is debugger? I put debugger, JavaScript stops that line itself. It will not go and execute the next line, right? So it will be stopped. Okay, for example, if I say console.log, here in the console, I just say hello. Okay. And now, if I started to execute the code, you can see the console.log hello is not executed. You can see the console is remaining. Why? Because the debugger is there. So the debugger stops the execution. Now, if I click here, it will go here. And if I click again, you can see the hello is executed. So this is what happened, right? So now what I'm going to do, instead of this one, I'm just going to refresh it. So instead of Grammarly, this one, I'm just going to say variable or now that JavaScript is not going to read this variable, right? And here I just going to say variable a equal to hello, like this. It's not going to read, right? If I execute it, right now JavaScript is not read this code. But in global scope, if I go to the scopes and if I click the global, you can see, sorry, I think the code is already in here. Okay, let me refresh this one. And here now I just need to add this one and execute it here. Okay, so JavaScript is not read the code, but here you can able to see the variable, the space is already allocated for variable and stored undefined inside it. You can notice that, right? The variable is hello, but JavaScript is not yet read this line code. Second line is not read because the debugger is the first line. JavaScript is not yet read the code, but the memory space is already allocated. That's what I would say. Hoisting is the process. Like it's like now only the ticket is open. Okay, so now only the ticket line is open, but some tickets are already booked. That's what it is. Same like this. So now only JavaScript is going to allocate memory for this one, but before that, for a the variable is allocated, but you can notice one thing here, the variable value is not allocated, here stored undefined, and that's what the purpose of undefined. So we know that undefined, what is undefined? Undefined is a keyword that JavaScript uses to reserve space for those variables. Okay, it's a default behavior. We are not going to use undefined only for comparison operator to check it. We are saying like let a is a equal to undefined. There is no use of doing that. Why? Because already JavaScript is going to store anything that is without value or with value, it is going to store undefined. Now you can notice now JavaScript is going to read the code. It is coming to the next line code. You can see once JavaScript read the code, the undefined is changed to hello. So what is happening here? So what is happening here? So what is happening here is when I write var a equal to 10, know that JavaScript creates a container and puts the value 10 inside it, but it is not a flow. How JavaScript will do means before JavaScript read the code, it will just like a scan. It will take a scan, and if any variable is there with var keyword, what it will do? It will take the space and undefined the memory. So having a space for the variable a. Like this, it will do. And then what it will do means once JavaScript read the code, then it will change the undefined to the variable. In this case, what you can achieve is you can able to access variable a before its initiation. For example, go for console. You can say here if I ask for console of a, what we will get? We are going to get undefined. The reason is here a is initially undefined. Once JavaScript read the code, it will be undefined, and then if I ask the same console.log after JavaScript read the code, then we will get 10. You can see a variable is getting value for two times. One is with undefined, that is the temporary zone, and then it's going to be the value that it is provided by that. Okay. Okay. So this is what it is. Okay. So this one is not. So that is what war is pretty complicated like that. Okay. And this process will take place in two places. One is a variable with var keyword, another is a function declaration type. Okay? Function declaration type, remember that. Okay, function declaration type. And here another thing notice is variables are partially hoisted, functions are fully hoisted. The difference? variable is partially hoisted, functions is fully hoisted. So what is meant by this? So when I create a variable with var keyword, we can able to access the variable before initiation and we will get undefined. So that undefined, so not getting the value, but it is called as undefined, right? So that is called partially hoisted. But functions are fully hoisted. For example, if we create a function and function, okay, and say return, okay, and we know that once it is read the code, JavaScript allocates the memory, and if I just say log get put, we will get hello. What if I put this code before the creation phase happen? What it will happen? Well, still the code will work fine. Why? Because the functions are fully hoisted, means the whenever a variable created with var and a function declaration is done, the function declaration is happened. What is going to happen is, so the functions are already before JavaScript read the execution, the VAP case is already resolved. That's what it is. The same concept, it will not same thing. The var keyword, if I do let, you can see we get error. Reference error cannot access A before initialization. It is telling that. And if I say const, the same thing, you cannot access a variable before initiating that. With var keyword, you can able to do it because of hoisting. Then you may ask like, so then var only is hoisted. Say let and const, it is not hoisted. You may ask like that, right? You have a doubt. Let me solve this. Let me check it whether var keyword only hoisted or other thing is also hoisted. The let and const is also hoisted. But because it is showing error, then it is we will consider it is not hoisted, right? So let me check it. Click here, and I just going to put it here, and I just going to say debugger, okay, and I just going to execute the code. And once I execute the code, now you can see var keyword undefined is allocated, and if I say console.log, sorry, I just remove the code. Sorry, okay. Let me run it again. You can see a variable is allocated before JavaScript read the code, and if I run it, you can see still undefined. So that is why the console.log we are going to get undefined. Now JavaScript is going to read the variable, and if it is read the variable, it is allocating the memory. Once the variable is allocated, if I click it here, you can able to see that the variable is come here, right? It will be there and we are accessing it. And same if I put let remove this one. Okay. Now if I execute the console.log, what will happen? Let me see it. I just going to cut off this one. And if I put it here, and if I run it, you can able to see still variable with let keyword is also hoisted. Before initiation, the special place is reserved, and it is also giving undefined inside it. But remember that let is not inside global scope, it is inside a script, block level scope. So because of this reason, you cannot access let and const before initiation. But let and const also hoisted. You can see undefined. Before the variable way it is going to read the code, for this also the space is reserved, like a very special VIP. Like we don't know who's booked the seat, like that. Okay, seat is booked, but we don't know who's booked the seat, like that. A special case. So this is also hoisted, but we cannot access it who until the variable is someone comes there. Then only we know who booked the seat, right? Same like that. Before initiation, we are not able to access it. Okay, so that's what this. But don't get into the myth that variable var is only hoisted, the letter fonts are not hoisted. That is not correct. Okay, so variables, every like JavaScript, variables and functions are hoisted. So it will allocate, JavaScript allocates memory before JavaScript going to read the code. It is going to do it. But because of the block level concept, let and const are in a special place, so we cannot access anything before the value is assigned to the variables. Before the value is assigned to the variables. If the value is assigned, then we can able to access it. Without value, we cannot access anything from the block level scope. But global scope is not like that. So that is why var is freely accessible and the declaration functions is also freely accessible. The only thing you need to know is variables are partially hoisted, functions are fully hoisted. So the functions means declaration function is fully hoisted. Why the constructor function and arrow functions are not fully hoisted? Because it is stored in a variable, so the functions is still considered as a variable, so they are partially hoisted. Okay, so this voice is my voice, is anyone having problem? Can you able to tell my voice is clear? Can anyone confirm my voice is clear, or is my voice is audible for all? Okay, okay, fine. Okay, clear. Mhm. Okay, okay, so this is what hoisting is. Okay, so the thing is, hoisting is going to be it will take place in variables and functions are fully hoisted, variables are partially hoisted, but var keyword, it will stores memory in the global scope, so which means the windows object, so it is accessible. But when the latent const are stored in a script, which means the block level scope, it is not we are not able to access that something without the permission of script, without in before initiation. That is why we are getting error like reference error, cannot access the variable inside the block level scope initiation. Choose. Okay, that's it. So let's be done with this. Okay, so next what we see is let's discuss about immediate invoking. I think short form for this, let me say immediate IMFF. I think immediate invoking immediate invoking function. What is the short form? Okay, IIFE. Okay, that's what it is. Immediate invoking function. What is immediate invoking function? Whether we are using it or not, we are not using right now. Why? Because we have the replacement for immediate invoking function. That is the basics concept export and import module. We know that what is export and import, right? So import is importing your components, export is exporting your component, right? So basically that work was done by immediate invoking function. Okay, let's see what is the issue that we have. Issue that we have. Issue that we have is whenever we are creating a variable globally, there are two issues. One is variable is accessible everywhere. It is accessible everywhere. For example, here var a equal to 10 is there, right? So I will create another JavaScript file, okay, and I just say app1.js app1.js, and here in index.js file, below this file, I'm just going to call script again, src, and I just say app1.js, and I just going to link it. And now here inside this one, okay, inside this app, you can see the variable a is inside this app file, but inside app1, if I ask console.log what is a, what is a, you can able to see, we can able to access it here. Just imagine how danger it is, not we can say danger, but imagine there is a high probability that you can able to change the value and you can able to misuse the value. Okay, so a variable is created here, but we are accessing here. But if I do the same thing with the let, able to see, we can able to access it. The reason, it is also global variable. Let is also global variable. Const is also global variable. Anything that is created outside the function, it is global variable. But if I put the same variable, say let my data, this is the function, okay, and I just going to put this code inside it. If I just run my data, I get to execute this one. Okay, what will happen? You can see we are getting error A is not defined. We are getting error A is not defined. Why? Because right now it is inside a function. If I put the value, put this value outside global variable, it is accessible. But if I put the same thing inside a function, it is not accessible. Why? Because we already learned this concept in the scope, because local variable is created, right? So if I want to access the value inside only this file, then what I want to do? I need to create a function. I need to create a function. Just say all code. Okay. This function is going to contain all our data. Function is going to contain all our code. So inside this function only, we need to write it everything. See, all the code we need to write it. Here the problem is, here we need to invoke the function. In some case, if we don't invoke the function, what will happen? What will happen? The function, it is not going to run, right? So what I want is, without calling the function, I need to invoke the function. So that is what immediate invoking function is. To solving this issue, variable pollute. This is called as global variable pollute. Okay, sorry for that. Because of the weather, bad weather condition here, so that's why I think the voice is breaking now. Okay, I hope now it is clear. Okay, so that's very simple. Simply, right now we can able to access this function inside and another variable, right? So which means, okay, then fine. I will tell it a little bit slow. Okay, so the problem is, here inside this variable, I can able to access that variable here. I need to stop it, and this issue is called as global pollute. Global pollute. Global pollute. Whenever we are creating a global variable or a function, it will be accessible all over the entire document. It will be accessible. Okay. So this will cause us an issue. So we need to solve this issue. So the one way to solve this issue is putting all our code inside a function. So that's what immediate invoking function is. But here the issue is, I need to execute, I need to call the function. I don't want to call the function. When the file is loaded, this function need to call automatically. So that's why a function is calling automatically by itself is called as immediate invoking function. And to stop this global pollute issue, okay, to stop this global pollute issue, so we are doing this. So how can we create an immediate invoking function? Is simple. A function that, for that you will have this code. That's what it. You need to write a function. You don't want to give a name, I think so. You can directly say it is a function. It is an immediate invoking function. And whatever you are going to write it, okay, it will be inside this function. For example, I just remove it. Here, console.log, I say, okay. And here, I'm just going to say var a, var a, okay. If I save it, nothing will happen. We are getting error because the variable a is not accessible. Just remove this one. And here you need to wrap this with parenthesis with followed parenthesis. This parenthesis only invoking the function automatically. Run it, you can able to see we will get hello. If you don't use this parenthesis, you are not going to execute anything. Okay. You can use the parenthesis here or also followed by here. Anywhere. good way. Most of the times the immediate invoking function will be used after this curly braces. Now what will happen? I started to load the function itself invoked, and all our files are inside my functions only. So this is locally scoped. Code. So inside this function only, all my code is going to be there. So it is like a local global environment, but it is accessible only inside that particular file. Anyone from outside the file is not able to access it. If you put the same code outside this function, it's accessible all over the place called as global pollute. And to stop this, we use the immediate invoking functions. Okay, and later this immediate invoking function is get replaced by you may see some of the libraries like butterfly, butterfly.js and common.js, and you may see that whenever you work with some module, you will say const express express use this require keyword, right? Require, right, need express like this. So this is like an advanced version. Immediate invoking function is basically used to do all those things. And later this common JS is used. And now we are using the same code. Plus, now the modules concept will hand over to the ES6 concept exports and imports. Before we used this one, and that before we used to control this one. And you can able to see this immediate invoking concept in a library that is one of the most used library, jQuery. Used it. No one knows it. That is an immediate invoking function. No one knows it. For example, let us go for here, and I will just say jQuery. Writing jQuery, we will wrap the jQuery with a function. I think if you worked with the jQuery, you will probably know it. We will wrap everything inside a function called what is the documentation? A pretty old documentation, not APA documentation. Okay, so here you can able to see the function. I think the function name is ready function. Okay, so okay, let me show you here. No, here jQuery ready. This one not ready function. Actually, we will put all our code inside this ready function only. So basically, how we will write is in jQuery, how we will write is dollar document, and I just say ready, and we will put all our code inside this function, right? I think so. Something like this we will write it, right? So this is how we will write the ready function like this. That you can able to see. We have the ready, and the ready it's going to have the functions. Sorry, I just simply write like this. Uh, have this. Actually, what is this ready function? It is doing. It is going to invoke the function once the document is get ready, right? So that immediate invoking concept is also that concept is applied here. So this function is going to contain all our code, and this function is executed once everything in my HTML and CSS file is loaded. So it is automatically going to invoke it. The same concept what we are doing here. This function is going to invoke once all other things are invoked, it is automatically going to invoke it. And here here we don't have any name. Here they have the name. The document.ready is the name. You can able to check it. I think jQuery ready. It's a ready function. It's an get invoking function. And you can see practice document.ready instead of you can I think you will read some documentation you will get probably you can see some of them asked the code like can we yeah this code can you see I have looked at a piece of code a function they have been added and they have tried to change the code of that particular function. So you can see if he does not execute the code on document ready, it does not work with DOM, you can use document.ready, otherwise it doesn't matter. I think you confused was the jQuery.shortcut. You can see which is a shortcut for document ready with IEFF. Document.ready is like the shortcut that we can use for the IEFF. Okay, so this library is used the immediate invoking function, but things got changed. Now no one is using, not no one, mostly it is updated to React, right? So we don't have this immediate invoking concept and everything. So the modules import and exports, they are handling the files way better than the immediate invoking functions. So we are not using this. But the concept, what's the problem that it is solving? That's main thing that you need to import. That you need to. Okay. That's all about immediate invoking function. Yeah, that's all. That's all for today also. So be in the line. I will share you the WhatsApp, the attendance form link also. If you have any other doubts, you can ask me now. You have two more things. You have two more things. Just be in the line. If whatever the doubts that you want to ask it, you can ask. You can tell it. Okay. And I will explain to you. You have any test list. Attendance form is shared in the box. Okay, please fill the attendance form. Once you fill the attendance form, just tell it in the chat box. If you filled it means, okay, the live will end in 3 minutes. If you have any other doubts, you can ask me now. Okay, probably whatever the concept that you want to ask for. Yeah. And if you want the code, just ask it in any one of the WhatsApp group that you are in. Social media manager will hand over the code, this file to you. Okay, you can use this and you can update it. Okay. If you have doubts, you can ask me here now to do this. And tomorrow is going to be Saturday, so we're going to conduct 12 hours of boot camp. So if you are an absolute beginner, I think someone has asked about beginners what to do. Attend this 12 hours of workshop. You will get an idea of all the tech stack, like all the front-end tech stack plus React. I think so. You will get, and yeah, you will get an update. Okay. Hope just attend it. You will get an you will get everything, and that's also we will provide certificates and we will provide everything. Okay, whatever you want. Okay, just let's see. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for attending this workshop. See you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.